Hey everyone, welcome back to Real Estate with Sam. If this is your first video you've watched from my channel, let me go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Sam, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a retired Marine, real estate investor, and real estate agent with eXp Realty here in Eastern North Carolina, where we have Camp Lejeune, Marine Corps Air Station New River, and Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point. Before we get started in today's video, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on other videos with great tips. If you're PCSing to Camp Lejeune, Marine Corps Air Station New River, or Cherry Point, you're probably asking yourself a question that we all ask every time we move. Should I just go ahead and live on base, or should I buy a home out in town? The decision can make or break your PCS experience, so we're going to go ahead and break it down and make sure you're not just going to throw money away or making life harder than it needs to be for you. As a retired Marine and real estate agent, I've been through it all. Living on base when I was stationed in Okinawa and also in Hawaii. I rented off base when I lived in California, but I also bought a couple homes along the way. So today I'm going to go ahead and break down the pros and cons so you can make the best decision for your family and your wallet. Let's get into it. All right, let's talk about base housing. Living on base has some really great perks, such as you're close to work, so you don't have much of a commute time, commissary, PX, other military families. But let's get into the pros and cons and see if it's really for you. Starting with the pros of living on base. Like I said before, you got a short commute to work and you don't have to deal with the Jacksonville traffic. If you've ever been stationed at Camp Lejeune, you know that the gates can get pretty backed up coming on and off base. Especially coming off base, people are trying to get home real fast and everything like that. And the traffic can get pretty gnarly at times. There's also no rent or utility payments. In fact, all they do is they just subtract your BAH, or they take your BAH straight out of your paychecks, and you'll see that on your LES. You'll receive the BAH, and then in the deductions, you'll see it taken away for your housing. There's also no home maintenance. If something breaks, all you do is submit a work order to housing, and it's not your problem. And last but not least, you're in a safe, gated community with military support. I mean, it's a gated community with armed guards at the gate. So I don't know how much more safer you can get than that. But there are also some serious downsides too. Some of the cons of living on base is you don't get to build equity. Your BAH goes straight to that privatized company managing housing. You also have limited privacy and space. If you like to do yard work or personalizing your home, forget about it. You're very limited to what you're allowed to do, and you must be approved prior to doing anything. And when you move, you need to return the home back to its neutral condition as when you received it. And there'll be an inspection when you move in. There'll be an inspection when you move out. And oftentimes they're going to make you, if you painted a room a different color, they're going to make you paint it back to the neutral color as when you received it. There's also long waiting lists. Depending on your rank and family size, you might not even get into housing for a year. Some of the housing waiting lists are 12 months out, depending on the area and the size. And right now, on average, you're looking at around 4 months waiting list, but it fluctuates between 1 to 12 months for the waiting list. So you may not even get into housing. Also, there's very strict base rules on dog breeds, painting, and a lot more. And last but not least, let's just be real. Living where you work means you're always around Marines or other service members. Do you really want to run into your first sergeant at the gym every morning or while you're walking your dog? Personally, I like to be able to leave work at work and be around normal people, i.e. civilians. Okay, so we've gone over the pros and cons of living on base. Let me know in the comments below if I missed anything. If you had other experiences, if you want to add more pros or add more cons, what has been your experience? Now let's get into buying a home near base, because if you plan it right, it can be a great financial move that sets you up for success later. Here's some of the pros of buying a home near the base. You have the opportunity to build wealth. Instead of giving all your BAH to privatized housing companies on base, you're investing in your own property with a chance to be able to recoup that money when you go to sell. Using your VA loan also means zero money down, so no need to save up for a massive down payment. You're also setting yourself up for potential rental income. Here's an example. A buddy of mine bought a home at their first duty station and lived in it for 2 years before PCSing somewhere else. They kept it as a rental for the last 20 years, and now it's almost paid off. Now, he did pay a little bit more towards the principal each month, turning the 30-year mortgage into a 23-year mortgage. Now going into retirement, not only are they getting their retirement pension and 100% disability, but they're cash flowing another $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And once that home is paid off in about a year, they're going to be cash flowing more than their retirement pension. Think about the long game. And the last thing I got as a pro for living off base is the freedom. You're not dealing with all those base housing rules. You can paint your walls however you want. You can get whatever dog you want, park wherever you want, and so much more. You can personalize the home. You can upgrade the home, increase the value of the home. You have that freedom to do so. But as we all know, buying a house isn't always sunshine and rainbows. Here's what you need to consider. You have market risk. Home values can go up and down. And while they've been steadily going up for a while here in Eastern North Carolina, sometimes you just never know what's going to happen. You also have PCS challenges. What happens when you get new orders? Do you sell it, rent it out? There's decisions that need to be made, and that's something that you have to think about. Maintenance costs. Unlike living on base, you are responsible for your own maintenance. There's no housing office to call when the water heater explodes or you need to replace the HVAC. It's best to set up a home maintenance reserve account and put money into it each month so you don't get caught off guard when there's a maintenance item that needs to be taken care of. All right, so there's the pros and cons of living on base or choosing to buy a home off base. But how do you decide? Here's a breakdown, and while it's not all encompassing, it's a great place to start the decision-making process. If you're only going to be stationed here for 1 to 2 years, base housing might be the better option. No stress of buying or selling, and you have a lot of flexibility in that aspect. But if you're going to be here for 3+ years, buying a home, it could be a smart investment. You have time to build equity and rent it out later or sell it for a profit to use towards your next home purchase. Are you financially stable and ready to invest? Then buying a home is a great wealth building move. Or do you prefer low maintenance and structured living? Then living on base housing keeps life simple for you. At the end of the day, the right choice comes down to your PCS timeline, your financial goals, and your lifestyle preferences. Of course, as a real estate agent, I'd love for you to buy a house. But at the end of the day, I want you to make the best move for you and your family. Helping veterans and service members is what I love doing because I know what it's like. So if you're thinking about buying a home when you PCS to Camp Lejeune, New River, or Cherry Point, reach out. My contact information is below in the description. I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. What's been your experience living on base or off base? And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with anyone you know who's PCSing. See you in the next video.